Hey Defying Gravity Volleyball family, it's Coach T and I'm back with another YouTube video. In today's YouTube video, I'm giving you a full detailed step-by-step explanation of how to create a volleyball tryout schedule. I'm also going to go into my Etsy shop guide where you can get my full 3-day, 6-hour tryout schedule, including 2 printable templates and a drill explanation guide, but there's a lot to talk about, so we should just hop right into it. Creating a tryout schedule, especially as a new coach or a coach that's coming back after a while, or even just a busy coach that also has another job on top of it, there's not a lot of time to create a successful tryout plan. And it's the most important thing to start your season on the right foot, because if you don't plan things that associate with what you value as a coach, then you're not going to be able to recruit the type of people or to put the type of athletes in your program that you want. So these steps are vital, and I'm hoping that I can save you hours of time, because it took me hours to make my own schedule and templates. So our first step in creating our tryout schedule is going to be starting with our coaching philosophy. So if you already have this down, beautiful, great, you can skip this step, but you might want to recheck it to make sure you are hitting these points in your coaching philosophy. A coaching philosophy is defined as your beliefs and values that you uphold for not only yourself but your program. So it can also be defined as an elevator pitch. So it's a short mini paragraph summary really showing your values and beliefs. For example, this can look like you expect high level of competitive play in your programs. You expect respect for not only their teammates and coaches but also their opponents and referees. Or you expect an overall great athletes, so they're great at academics and athletics. So there's a lot of things, there's hundreds of things that you can think of to put in your coaching philosophy, but it really just boils down to what are you hoping to build as a culture for your program, and what are you personally hoping to embody as a head coach. Now that we've got our coaching philosophy down by now, we can move into our second step, which is choosing our area of focus. So using that coaching philosophy, we're going to find the cultural norms that we can see consistently in our coaching philosophy. So if you notice, you have a lot of repetitive or synonym words that relate to stamina and agility, or you have a lot of words that relate to mental toughness, you'll see there's like certain areas that you're consistently talking about within traits. So you're going to utilize that from your coaching philosophy to create your areas of focus. There's 2 sections to this. The first section is your cultural norm areas of focus. Cultural areas are key aspects which impact your program culture and dynamic, and it should be reflected in your coaching philosophies. But some examples of this can be agility and stamina, resilience, communication, effort, coachability, mental toughness. You can kind of see where I'm getting at. It's what you value as a coach, and it might seem like every coach would pick the same thing, but that's actually not true at all. Every coach has different things that they prioritize over others. That doesn't mean that if you have resilience included in your coaching philosophy, that you really don't care about anything else. It's just your main ones that you focus on. Once you have a few of those down, we can move into the second section of choosing your area of focus, which is the 4 main areas of volleyball you should be hitting in your tryouts. So these areas of focus are the main core aspects of the sport of volleyball. So that includes serving, passing, setting, and attacking. And for higher developed teams, you would also add in 2 more key area points of volleyball, which is blocking and digging. But to keep it very core and simple, especially if you're not thinking about creating a tryout for a higher developed team, it's those 4 key aspects: serving, passing, setting, and attacking. So with those 4 key aspects, you'd make sure you have at least one drill that hits that during your entire tryout. So that would look like 1 passing drill, 1 setting drill, 1 serving drill, and 1 attacking drill. And for high developed teams, also 1 blocking drill, 1 digging drill. Now, I have to say this disclaimer: do not take it super literally, because this is a bare minimum suggestion. You should have at least 1 passing drill, 1 setting drill, 1 serving drill, and 1 attacking drill. But that doesn't mean you're limited to just one of them. Most times you can get multiple areas in one drill. So like one tryout drill that I love doing is a serve and receive drill. One side is serving, the other side is serve, receive, passing. I already got 2 markers in there. So it's really easy to have numerous areas of focus in your tryout drills, but just as a bare minimum suggestion, I want to make sure you hit those core key areas in your tryouts at least once. To make it a little easier for you though, using your coaching philosophy and your own beliefs as a coach, you can decide what drills you want to add more of. So even though you have at least 1 drill for each marker, you personally as a coach might prioritize serving over other key areas. So I would make sure I'm adding more serving drills than possibly the other drills because I want to see who would be a good addition for serving. Alright, step number 3 is all about tryout dates and times, but more specifically connecting with your athletic director or your club program director. So now that we have our own pre-prep work done, we can actually get the information we need to physically create the schedule, and that comes with collaboration with our directors and bosses. So if you're coaching for a high school program, that would be your school's athletic director. Or if you're a coach for a club program, that would be your club director. So they are going to have the gym's availability, the dates and times that you would need to create the schedule. Because when we're physically making the schedule, we're going minute by minute on there. So we need all these details. So here are some good questions that you should make sure you're asking your athletic director. I'm pretty confident they'll already know that they need to answer these questions, but just so you feel like you're going into it knowing what you're looking for, these are the markers and questions that you should be asking your athletic director. The first question you want to ask them is, how many days or sessions is tryouts going to be? So every school is vastly different. Some of them have a program expectation for all tryouts and all sports that they do multiple day sessions. Some only require 1 tryout day, but you as a coach can personally decide if you want to spread it out. Some are more confined and have certain restrictions where coaches have to follow their guidelines. So as you can see, collaborating with the athletic director is very important to seeing if you're able to mold your tryout dates and times and sessions, or if you have to follow their strict guideline as a school. So next is choosing the times. Now that we know the dates and how many sessions, we can decide time. So if it's more open-ended, you can decide to do a morning tryout, or if it's very strict and you have to do a session in multiple day sessions, you might want to do early morning, a long break in the afternoon, and then they come back in the afternoon. But once we have those markers, the dates, the times, and the information on the grade levels that are going to be involved, we can now actually create our tryout schedule, because without that information, I wouldn't be able to create the timestamps. So step number 4, thankfully, this step is a lot easier than the other ones because we did all our prep work already with step 1 and 2. Choosing our coaching philosophy and also choosing our areas of focus, which is the core 4 areas of volleyball and our cultural norms. So we'll start with hitting those core areas. So we're going to find 1 passing drill, 1 serving drill, 1 setting drill, and 1 attacking drill. And again, that doesn't have to be super rigid. I know most people take advice very literally with stuff like this, but like I already said, you can combine things. If you find something that has all the areas in 1 drill or just 1 area, it's really up to you in choosing, trusting yourself. Even if you're a brand new coach, if you think a drill looks fun, try it out. It doesn't work, okay, you won't probably do that tomorrow or the next day, right? So just find what drills really intrigue you as a coach, because that's going to make you teach it a lot better. And then next, you're going to think about your cultural norms. So were you the type of coach that said in your coaching philosophy, you're going to be looking for really conditioned athletes, so you're going to make sure you add in a lot of conditioning and stamina drills. So you're going to test how much agility they have, how quick they are on their feet, or you're going to test how long they can run for distance. And remember, we're choosing these drills with intentionality because tryouts is where you're forming your program. People can really overlook choosing people in tryouts, but that's the first start, not just preseason, but that's the start of your season where you're choosing who's on your roster. And if you're not testing who can really abide by your expectations in core values of what you find prioritizing as a head coach or cultural norms, then what's the point? You're going to be like, why is this athlete not able to embody? Because you didn't even test it in tryouts. So that's why I'm really honing in on doing your prep work of coaching philosophy and finding out and understanding yourself as a coach before you just start creating a schedule. All right, our 5th and final step is finally creating the tryout schedule. I know it's not that fun to just be constantly doing prep work and all of that, and most people don't want to spend hours doing all of this, but that's why I'm trying to make it a little simpler for you, because I don't think people should cut corners if they don't have to. So creating our tryout schedule, you can of course use any writing document that you like to use, whether it's Word or Google Docs. I use Google Docs, but to each their own. Whatever you want to use is fine. And you're going to literally account for every small thing you're going to do in tryouts. Now, this might seem tedious it is, or it might seem like it's not important to add in water breaks in your schedule, or to add in sign-ups and warming up or warm downs. But I can promise you that adding those things in, it doesn't mean that you're rigidly following things minute by minute. So for example, as you can see here, I have warm-ups and sign-ups 9:30 to 10. And then from 10 to 10:15, I'm doing introductions and expectations. So let's say right at 10, I still have my athletes warming up for their last few minutes. I'm not going to scream at them and say, we must stop right now and start our introductions at 10. That's not at all. I promise, please don't do that. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is for us as coaches. None of the athletes should ever see this ever. This is just for the coaches, so you and your assistant coaches, to keep you on an ideal track. Of course, if you're noticing they're warming up for 10 minutes past, you might want to start being like, all right, like, can we move along? So please try not to take things super, super literally, but the minute by minute is kind of just reminding you of your ideal time frame that you want to move something along. Let's say you're doing a drill and you're like, wow, I'm loving what I'm noticing with this drill. I kind of only want to do it for 10 minutes, but maybe I should push it for 10 more. It's definitely going to happen during your tryouts. I promise you, every single tryout schedule and every practice plan I make, I'm always adjusting something because it ends up working really well, or maybe something doesn't work out at all and I decide to change my mind. It's very adjustable, and it's always going to be moldable and changed by the head coach the day of. I promise you. Going into tryouts with a schedule, it might seem like it's going to hold you too strict to something, but it actually really can lessen your stress as a head coach because your other coaches have a guide with what the drills are going to be, what the schedule is. They're not constantly asking you, hey, what's next, coach? Like, what did you mean by this explanation of this drill? I've never done this drill before. I promise you don't want to have to do all of that during tryouts. You're just going to want to have to focus on taking notes of all the athletes that are trying out. So doing all this work, while it is very tedious, and even with my help, it's still going to take a good amount of your time and prep work, it's worth it, and it actually saves you the stress once tryouts is starting, because you're not going to have any time to think. It's really important to do this work, promise you. So just to remind you one more time, here's an example of what the beginning of my day one schedule would look like. I'm including sign-ins and warm-up, I'm including introductions, and I'm including the first drill, which is a warm-up drill. So it starts with the time duration of the drill or the activity we're going to do. It includes the title of it, and underneath that, the bullet points that I need to remember for that point. So it could be drill expectation notes of like, this coach will do this, or it could be like you see in the beginning of my sign-in and warm-up, which is athletes will sign in and they'll get a name tag. The varsity captains will start warming up at 9:50. You can kind of see here that it's really just a guideline that resembles a PowerPoint document that helps you really lead a team. I have done hours of work creating my Etsy shop guide where you get my full 3-day tryout schedule. That's 6 hours of a tryout schedule separated into 3 different sections, plus detailed drill explanations where you're going to get visual examples, bullet point notes, the duration, developmental level. Amazing work that you don't have to do for your tryout schedule. And on top of that, for different learning styles, I added in 2 different templates that you can add in, a partially filled out one with my same drills, but you can add in the time slots, and a empty template where you can still use my drills, but put them where you want at different times, and even add in your own bullet point notes. Well, I hope this helped out my fellow coaches. If you're going into a new season and you just don't have the time to create a schedule, you're an aspiring coach heading into your first season, or you haven't played in a while, whatever your case may be, I really hope that this video helped you out. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And on that note, thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. I'm so excited. It's been my goal for so long. For anyone that's been subscribed to me or following me for a while, 500's been my goal, and it's actually here. It's pretty wild. I started specifically the YouTube channel a year ago, so I think it was perfect timing. And obviously my next goal is 1,000. We're just going to keep pushing the goal. So I'm very grateful and happy for all 500 of you and more. The ones that have just subscribed today, or the ones that have been here since day one. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm super thankful. So thank you as always. Please also don't forget to check out my TikTok and Instagram. They're also doing pretty well. I just hit 5,000 on Instagram, and I'm getting there on TikTok. I'm aiming for 10,000, but we're getting there. It's crazy. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you. Thank you. And lastly, as always, the thing I always promote, my website where it all originated, defyinggravityvolleyball.com, where my blog posts, Etsy shop links, YouTube video links, everything about Defying Gravity Volleyball started there, so you can find everything there. Thank you guys, and I'll see you another time. Bye.